So let's talk about the I word, literally. Let's talk about identity. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. I think I said I'll stop saying the welcome to my channel thingy. So thank you for being here. Thank you for taking your time to watch. And I hope whatever I share with you today will help you see things differently. That's the goal I've had since I started doing these videos. So even if I change one person's mindset for the better, or if I make you learn something new or get that, that's something. Yeah. If that happens, well and good. I thank God for that. And today I want to talk about identity. I want to talk about the I word. And this word is very sensitive, as in it's very critical because how we hold it so dear, it's like we carry ourselves in that word. That word identity is how we carry ourselves literally, because what you do, what you think, how you interact with others, they all come from how you see yourself. And most of the time you see yourself based on a word or an identity you have already given yourself. And the thing about identity is, most of the time, okay, actually identity is not what we think. What am I saying? Okay, our identities can take very many shapes as long as we are here on earth. And that's why I don't believe we have one identity, at least not what we think. Because okay, the one true identity is what God calls us. And I believe if God was asked today who we are, he would just call us his children, and son or daughter, whatever, he'll just call us his children. And every other title that we give is all man-made, is all things we use to make other people more important than others, for reasons I don't know why, but apparently it has been going on like that for ages. And so we pick it up as we grow up. That's how we were brought up, and that's how we live, and that's how we pass it on to the next generation, I guess, or something like that. But basically the identities we walk around with are not they are not our true identities. They're just our titles, and titles are bound to change. And that's why I say we have so many identities, because how you see, there's one thing, there's the way you see yourself, number one, and there's the way other people see yourself. There's the way other people see you. And so if your neighbor calls you good, if another person calls you pretty, if someone else calls you which other name you want to fill in there, that becomes your identity in their eyes. And then there's also that identity that you mirror to yourself because of experiences you've had or how you've done things, so you tend to associate yourself with that, and then it becomes your identity. And so everything else after that is done in the same way. And I believe that is not our true identity, because it changes. It changes. The way you think of yourself today may not be the same way you think of yourself tomorrow, based on the experiences that you go through. And yes, that is my short introduction on identity. And so if I may be asked what identity is, basically, I think it is just, in human terms, it is just a title. It is such a title that we hold so dear that it becomes how we live our lives, and how we label ourselves, or how we try to fit ourselves in this world, which is, I don't think it's a really good thing, because it really messes us. Okay, it really makes us messed up, because most of the time, for especially for people who've gone through situations that are not so ideal, they tend up to see themselves as maybe fragile or victims or all that, and it becomes their identity so much that everything they do after that experience kind of mirrors that experience. So it's like they never really get out of that cycle, which is a sad thing. And thank God for therapists these days. I think therapists, counselors, those are God sent help from heaven, and the world needs it right now. The world needs all the help we can get, especially with all the mental health issues and all that. But basically, I don't think the kind of identity we give ourselves is not ideal. And I believe that the one true identity that we have, if we were even to call it identity, is what God calls us. And as I said, if God was to come here today and we ask him how he sees us, I don't think it will be the way we see ourselves, and not entirely, because being here on earth, we have so many things going on that we it's very easy to be blinded by everything that is happening outside, that we forget of what is eternal and where we've come from, and why we are even here in the first place. So that's the sad aspect of being a human being. But thank God for Christ, because he came to show us that we can actually live as gods here on earth, just the same way that he did. Because yes, the Bible says we are gods, and yes. So where do we get our identity from? Our identities comes from two sources. One, as I said, from the way we see ourselves out of experience, and most of the time even those experience and how we call ourselves based on those experiences are still inclined to what other people say about us. Because if you go through, say you fail in class, and no one ever calls you a failure, you never label yourself as a failure, because you won't even know what that is. But because the society has already defined that thing, and so people start projecting it to you, and you pick it up as your own identity, and so you walk around like that for the rest of your life if you don't get the chance to heal. And then there's the second way that we get our identity, and that is kind of links to the first way. That is, the first one is how we see ourselves, and the second one is how other people see us. And the thing about those things is, unless we come into truth, we cannot really see ourselves as we really are. Because as I said, most of the time our identity comes from our experiences. But the thing is, our experiences keep on changing, and when we hold so dear a name that we've given ourselves based on a past experience, that's when change becomes difficult, because you will feel that aspect of you is being threatened. And so when it is being threatened, we are not so easy with being free or being empty. When someone tells you can no longer be that, you become confused, you become wary, we become depressed, because we feel like my identity is gone, and that is very challenging. It is not easy, because you're already attached to what you used to call yourself. And the basis of this video was to sort of give us the space to just think, what if we stopped associating ourselves with all the terms that we give ourselves? What if we stopped associating ourselves with all the temporary titles? What if we just admitted that we just are, we were, we are, and will continue being just like God? We came from God, we are here on earth, and after that we will continue being wherever we will go. So we are just that, we are spirit beings, eternal beings. And after everything is said and done, everything on this earth will fade away. And as Paul said, that which is seen is temporary, and that which is not seen is actually more permanent. I've actually rephrased that verse. I can't even remember the chapter of the book that verse came from. But if you know, you can write it on the comment section so people can refer to it after this video. But basically, this is what I'm saying. Yes, things are temporary and things will keep on changing. I think COVID-19 has proved that things will keep on changing, and I think it's a high time that we come to a place where we start looking at things from an eternal point of view. We start looking at who we are from an eternal point of view. And the more we do that, the more we will solidify the actual identity, that which is children of God, and that is which we cannot be something that someone says, because if we become something that someone says, then we will become everything that everyone else says, and those are too many identities to try to live up with. And I think that is also one of the reasons why many people feel so overwhelmed with life, because we try to play so many roles. I've written a blog on Hello Role Player on my blog, Preach Through My Lyrics. That's a blog I share with a friend of mine. I think I'll also leave a link to that in the description below so that you can refer to that. Yes, we play so many roles based on what other people call us and based on what we think other people want to see in us. But what if we just let go of all that kind of identity, or titling, or whatever name you want to give it? What if we were just comfortable with just being us? Just what if? Just what if we were just comfortable with just being us? Without the titles, without the many. Of course, you will still keep your name. We cannot call everyone, hey, you, who, you, yes, you. We need our names to point out things. But we do not need the titles. Honestly, I don't think we need the titles. Because if your identity is based on a title, then you are bound to have a life that is so shaky, because things change and they will continue changing. And that's why I like what Joyce Meyer says. She says that even if God decided that she was not going to preach today, it will not change who she is. It will not change the fact that she's still here on her purpose, and it will not change just generally who she is. And I think that's the kind of mindset that we need to start walking around with, because many a times we are so bound to one thing just because we give ourselves titles based on that thing, and so we are not ready to live life in a different way because of that. And there's so much out here, there's so much out here that we could experience, there's so much out here that we could enjoy, there's so much out here that we could learn, if we just let go of the titles, if we just let go of what other people see us, if we just let go of how we thought we were. There's this sermon that Pastor Stephen Fatick titles, I Am Not Who I Thought. And it's a really nice sermon. I saw that sermon and I was like, yes, yes, yes. You know those sermons that speak to the core of your being? Yes, that was the kind of sermon that I saw. I found it, because at the end of the day, it is not in what is that we see, it is in what God says. And knowing that should give you so much peace, because you don't have to live up to standards that the human world gives you. You don't have to live up to a standard that you found here. You have the freedom to shape your own life. You have the freedom to write your own destiny. You have the freedom to live out your life the way you want to. So think about your identity. Think about what you think you are. Think about what other people say you are. And just look at the line in between. At the end of the day, when that changes, when things change in your life, when people go from your life, what remains? After everything is said and done, after life happens, in and out of COVID, in and out of experiences, in and out of a job, what remains? What remains? That is your true identity. And mind you, it is not something sad. It isn't. If you find it as something sad, then it means there's something in you that needs healing. If you find that it is something that is depressing to you, then it means that is not your real identity. You need healing. If you find that is something that gives you a lot of pressure, that is not your real identity. You need healing. Your real identity will always be marked by peace. I'm sorry about the dong dongs. There's some construction going on. It's okay. So your real identity will always feel like peace, not happiness. Because happiness, the kind of happiness you experience is temporary. It will feel like joy. Joy is more permanent. So it will feel like joy and it will feel like peace. So look for that thing that makes you feel like you don't have to work for it. That thing that makes you that feel like you just are and you're okay being. Because you just are. And you are okay being. Because God created you whole, God created you just right, and God created you the way He knew you could win on this earth. And even the topic on winning is another one we will have on another day. So think about it. Think about it. Think about it. That's it for today. I hope I've done it right. But I'm not sure if I've done it right. But I hope I have. So what do you think about identity? Let me know. Let me know in the comment section. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Let's keep this conversation going. And if you haven't watched it, there's a video I did on videos I did on intentional living. And the first video I was talking about how you, I don't know how you describe or what is your true identity. And I said I am, you fill in you fill in a word, that blank space. And at this point I don't think you need to fill that space with anything. I think we just need to be okay with just being, and just being the children of God, and just let life flow through us without giving ourselves titles. You don't need a title. You don't need a title. No, you don't. No, you don't. So check out that series. It's a good series. It's a good series. I think I've just like built up on that video, and I hope it helps. So let me know what you think about identity. Let me know where you've gotten stuck with the identity, because I have gotten stuck with identity for so long. For so long. But now it's a bit more free. Tell me what you think in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe again. Don't forget to share. And see you next time. Love this get to perfection. Bye.